Amazon is probably one of the best companies on the planet, probably the best investment you could have made if, of course, you were there when it IPO'd, despite, of course, the stock crashing, was it 70-80% after the dot-com bubble. As you can see, since it went public, stock is up almost 200,000%. But of course, we can also look at in the last 10 years, stock is up over 1,000%. In the last 5 years, stock is up almost 100%. And I still believe that Amazon is one of the best companies on the planet today and one of the best investments you can make. Yes, I'm saying this despite the title of this video and despite this company having a market cap of over $2 trillion. Why is that? Well, I've explained it countless times on the channel, so go watch the Amazon videos. But in short, it's because the company is so big today and it's because it's becoming more and more profitable. So if you're just looking at it from a forward PE perspective, 40.7 times, you might think, oh, expensive. But look at what the analysts are expecting this company to do. EPS growing 57% this fiscal year, another 26% next fiscal year, and then another 30.7% the fiscal year after that. So the PE is coming down quite fast. Of course, it will depend what the stock will do, because if the stock moves up faster than the company is becoming more and more profitable, then yes, the stock will become more expensive, not less. But I do still expect Amazon to outperform. I do still expect Amazon to buy back shares, which it hasn't done. And eventually, I hope not soon, but eventually it will pay out a dividend. But I think we still have some time with that. That said, I do think that if you think you missed Amazon, there might be another company you might want to look at, and that's a company we're going to touch on in this video. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if not, we really appreciate that. If you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment with the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Thank you very much. And so the company I want to talk about is, of course, Mercado Libre. We've talked about Mercado Libre a lot on this channel. Of course, some of you will already check out, but for those of you that still want more information, sit back and relax. Now, Mercado Libre, of course, since they went public, are up over 6,000%. Yes, it's true that in the last 10 years, the stock is up close to 2,000%. You could say that the majority of that growth came in the last 10 years or so. Even in the last 5 years, stock is up 177%, has a market cap close to $90 billion, forward PE 48.3 times. But here, again, if you look at what the analysts are expecting, they're expecting EPS for this fiscal year to grow 50%, followed by another 32% year-over-year growth, followed by another 35.4% year-over-year growth by fiscal year 2026. So again, we're looking at a company that is growing its bottom line quite faster, in this case also faster than the top line, despite the top line growing 34.4% in fiscal year 2024, and then close to 20% for the coming 2 fiscal years. And that's not all. If we look at some valuation metrics in the last 5 years, we can see that right now the stock is much cheaper than before. Even though the stock is up by quite a lot, valuation-wise, forward PE, EV to EBITDA, price to sales, price to free cash flow, price earnings to growth, all of those metrics are lower. And this is what I like to see. I like to see an investment go up while valuation goes down. Why is that? Well, because the business is accelerating, the business is growing much faster. And you can actually see it right here. Revenue continues to grow steadily year over year. Free cash flow grows as well. Then return on invested capital closing in again on 20%. We had that small period in time where it has dipped below, but now we have been recovering quite nicely. Gross profit has, of course, exploded in the last 10 years. Net income also increasing more and more in the last couple of years. If we look at the EPS growth rates, we can see that the expectations are quite positive. Now, before continuing here, I just want to make sure that most of my viewers know this. Amazon, my second largest position, I have zero issues adding to that position, despite it being already quite a big position and a huge company. Why is that? Like I said at the start of this video, I still think that Amazon can become much, much bigger, and it will definitely become more and more profitable. Just purely looking at what some analysts are expecting. If you look at December 2027, there are 10 analysts projecting what will happen by then. EPS estimates $8.74, which means a forward PE of 22.25 times. In my opinion, not that expensive at all. If we look at revenue estimates, 8 analysts by December 2029 expect Amazon to generate over $1 trillion in revenue. I repeat, over $1 trillion in revenue by 2029. But of course, these are just analyst projections. A lot of things can change until then. It's very important to follow what the business is doing. Then, looking at Mercado Libre, here a bit less analysts are projecting so far ahead, but still if we look at December 2028, EPS expected to increase by more than 2x, which means forward PE just over 20. If we look at the revenue estimate, almost doubling by 2028, so forward price to sales 2.26. Now here are a couple of stats for you. So in Mexico, Mercado Libre holds a significant market share of 15.4% in 2023, maintaining its position from the previous year. Its closest competitor, Amazon, experienced a decline, dropping to an 11.2% market share. In Brazil, Mercado Libre dominates the market with a 28.9% share, increasing its lead by 4.5 percentage points year over year. Amazon is the second largest player, growing its share to 23.2%, but still trading Mercado Libre, and I believe Shopee has also increased its market share a little bit. With regards to revenue contribution, Mexico and Brazil are crucial to Mercado Libre's business, contributing 22.4% and 59.3% of its total revenue in Q4 2024, respectively. Both countries showed significant revenue growth compared to the previous year. And Mercado Libre management has shown us time and time again that the markets that they are playing in are quite big. On the left here, you can see the markets with a combined population of over 500 million. Only India and China are larger. With regard to GDP, they are operating in markets with a GDP of $5 trillion. These were the numbers from last quarter. Of course, we will cover Q2, Q3, Q4, whatever will come for Mercado Libre on this channel, so make sure you're subscribed. But again, a very, very good quarter by Mercado Libre, despite some headwinds from Argentina. Currently, there is the Copa America going on, and Mercado Libre, as you can see, right behind Lionel Messi, very, very visible, so some good advertising there. We've got some more numbers here, Max sharing some great information. So Mercado Libre was the favorite marketplace of Mexicans during Hot Sale with the highest traffic and sales. Sales of over 34.5 million pesos were recorded, up 15.3% compared to 2023. More than half of the sales from pure players were within Meli platform. When we look at the advertising side, Mercado Libre will become a $1 billion digital advertising player this year. That's a 2x the amount in 2022 and set to represent 6.7% of LATAM's digital ad market by 2026, $1.9 billion. I think those numbers are still quite conservative. Brazil and Mexico will attract the bulk of retail media ad spending in Latin America. And I think Argentina could be a huge player as well, as their economy starts their rebound and we've bottomed when it comes to the devaluation. Continuing here, in 2024, Mercado Libre is set to overtake Amazon in Mexico's retail media landscape. In Brazil, Mercado Libre will account for nearly 2/3 of all retail media ad dollars in 2024, while Amazon struggles with a declining market share. Switching a bit to e-commerce sales, by the way, e-commerce adoption is still low in the region compared to some other parts of the world, which means there is still some huge upside. Brazil has a projected $81.74 billion in sales in 2024 and more than 100 million digital buyers. Brazil's consumer market is one of the most diverse in Latin America. Mercado Libre is dominating and commanded a massive 30.3% lead in market share. And by the way, every time we get such a percent, like you've seen before we saw 28%, now we're seeing 30%, always have a little margin of safety here when looking at those percentage points, because one, let's say, analysis website can have data from one side, the other from the other, and you just have to average out. But overall, it's pretty clear you're buying here a company that is growing in a region that is growing as well, a company that is dominating in that region. They've invested a lot in logistics, in awareness, advertising, you name it. And to be honest, yes, maybe it might not be a global player like Amazon, but I think Latin America is big enough for that company to become a huge, huge company in the future. And so last thing here, looking at the graph, pretty zoomed out, you can see that we had a double top here in 2021, bearish, then a huge, huge correction, went all the way back down under $700. Since then, it did go up. It had a couple of little corrections here, but the uptrend was always respected despite it going under the 200-day moving average for a week or two. Right now, we're trying to make our way back up to that resistance point here at around $1,800. RSI is high, but not overbought. So overall, to conclude, with Mercado Libre, you're buying basically a great company with great management and a great track record with a bright future ahead. If you think you missed Amazon, think again. I think there is still time for Amazon to do a lot more, definitely becoming more and more profitable. Will buy back a lot of shares, in my opinion, in the future, which will increase your shares as well. So here are two options. You can buy Amazon at $2 trillion, or you can buy Mercado Libre at $90 billion. I think both will do quite well in the future. That's why they're both in my top 5 in the portfolio. That's about it for this video. If you enjoyed this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if not, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.